Welcome back to our channel, guys. A lot has changed over the years, but the VW Golf is still around. Recently it has been released in its latest generation.
What we are going to do with the car, we're going to drive the car in stock, put it on our dyno, measure it in stock and with the developed tune fit, and of course we're going to measure 100 to 200 kilometers per hour on the Autobahn.
Yeah, I know. Let's be honest, we're all waiting for the GTI and R versions of the new Golf, aren't we? However, they won't be around until late 2020 or early 21. Until then, we took the chance to have a look at the 1.5 TSI motorization to see if it's a good platform to build on. The latest iteration of the VW Golf comes with a completely new exterior and interior design. Starting on the outside, I personally think it looks good, but a little bit boring at the same time, especially if you compare it to its predecessor. Probably the upcoming top-of-the-line versions will fix this with more aggressive bumpers, spoilers and other sporty bits and pieces. The interior is definitely a big step for VW. Some will complain that it doesn't look like a Golf anymore, but at the end of the day, touchscreens and digital cockpits are the future, and it's important that they didn't miss their chance to update the interior for the next few years. Let's head to the dyno, where Dani will put the technical bits of the new Golf through its paces.
So brand new VW Golf 8. We do have the 1.5 TSI engine here with 96 kilowatts, so 130 horsepower. The same engine exists with 110 kilowatt as well, so 150 horsepower, but this is the 96 kilowatt version over here. So the car is not announced yet for the US as example, just the GTI and the R version is announced for the US, but maybe they're getting this version as well. This version is now available all over Europe basically. So we finished the development of the product already, so I can tell you a little bit more about the installation of our product. We are connecting to 3 different sensors: intake pressure, turbo pressure and the camshaft position sensor. Installation takes roughly around 20 minutes. Of course, the product will be delivered together with a detailed instruction manual, so installation should be possible for basically everyone. So as I mentioned, development has been finished already. We can walk over to the screen and check out the performance figures. So we ended up at 180 horsepower and 260 Newton meters of torque, which is an awesome improvement over stock, especially if you check out how the engine behaves and how the curves are running. They're perfect, at least in my opinion. We are looking now what was engine power before is now wheel horsepower, what is really, really awesome. So if you want to check out the curves, thick line orange is tuned torque, thin line orange torque stock. Same goes for horsepower and wheel horsepower, which is red is horsepower tuned. The thick line, thin line is stock horsepower. So it is an awesome improvement all over the RPM range. There is no drop whatsoever. So I'm really, really excited to test it on the street.
Welcome to the brand new Golf 8, guys. As you can clearly see, we kind of try to conform to the Corona rules, which means today I'm Dani's driver, which he's probably kind of proud of.
Hi, James.
Well, you already drove the Golf 8 for a few kilometers in stock. What do you think of the car?
Yeah, of course, during the development phase. I don't want to hate on the car too much, but I'm not a big fan of the gearbox. It feels really disconnected. Like how the clutch behaves, there's not much feeling, to be honest. And like the engine is not really spontaneous, how it reacts on your gas pedal positions and everything. And it lacks performance in stock, definitely. Of course, maybe I'm a little bit biased, I have to say that, but the tune fits the car really, really well.
Definitely. I mean, in terms of the engine, you kind of have to be fair. It's one of the entry-level engines of the Golf. It's not a GTI or anything like that. But I agree, it definitely needs more power. And I also kind of agree in terms of transmission and steering. In this car, it's come to a level where you feel that little of the actual road and the clutch is so disconnected that you could also be thinking you would sit in some kind of driving simulator. It's like it doesn't really feel like you would drive an actual car on the road.
Of course, we have to mention, obviously we're driving the manual gearbox, so...
Yeah, we do. Of course, with an automatic transmission you wouldn't have the clutch problems, obviously. You might get used to it. For us it's a little bit strange. Coming to the engine, I'm driving the car in tune now. What you can feel right away is that the car has a lot more power, which you already found out on the dyno, of course, which the car definitely needs. I mean, just giving it some throttle right now, it really goes quite well. You can't complain. I mean, it's around 180 horsepower now, which is not slow for a Golf. So that's a good thing. What kind of doesn't get better with the tune itself is the responsiveness. So I'm thinking this is not an engine problem, but probably a weird setup of the throttle.
Right, so I would definitely suggest to get an XLR, so an pedal controller, so you can make it a little bit more aggressive. At least in my opinion, it suits the car pretty good, and you should go for that as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I've just set the XLR, which is installed in here, to race, which is kind of a high setting. And now you get to the point where the responsiveness is what you'd like it to be, right? So this really helps. Yeah, so basically, we have to be honest here. The few days we drove the car, we weren't like very impressed with it. It's not a bad car by any means, but it's definitely not a sporty car as well. Throttle tuning as well as engine tuning helps a lot here, you have to say. So I'm really glad to have this in here. It feels way faster, so my thinking is it will also be really a lot faster on the Autobahn. What do you think?
I'm absolutely sure there will be a huge difference in time. If you're going to measure 100 200 later, there will be a huge difference in time, definitely.
Alright, so I would say let's head to the Autobahn and test that out. So, what's the bottom line of our test and tune for the new Golf? First of all, performance increasement is a no-brainer, period. Being 5 seconds faster from 100 to 200 km/h makes the decision quite easy in my opinion. The car in general, I think we probably hated on it a bit too much during our test drives. Yeah, it feels really disconnected from the road and responsiveness in stock isn't great either, but most people who buy a car like that just want a comfortable and safe daily driver which brings them from point A to B as easy as possible, and that's something it does really well. We'll just have to wait and see if VW manages to make the Golf GTI and Golf R as sporty or hopefully even sportier than the previous generations. If they can do that, we're as happy as ever that the most iconic hot hatch on the market is still around. As always, thank you very much for watching our latest video. Give us your opinion on the Golf 8 in the comments below. Do you think the GTI and R will be proper hot hatches, or has VW lost its way? We're really interested to see what other car guys think of it. Also, consider subscribing to our channel to support future releases and never miss a new video. See you in a few weeks.